It is generally frowned upon for woodworkers to buy IKEA furniture. I'm going to win all those woodworkers back by doing a complete transformation of this metal cabinet and add a ton of wood features. This epic build is brought to us by Squarespace. I want to take a piece of maple plywood that will also be the legs, have it come up along the sides, bend over the top, and come back down so it creates a shelf here, and then we have a shelf up top. I got in trouble last time for using your mom jokes. No jokes about your mom today. For this top, I'm using 3/4 inch maple plywood. A 4x8 sheet is just a little too big for me to use at my table saw, so I start off with the track saw, and then when it's down to a little bit more manageable size, I finish it off at the table saw. We're gonna bend the plywood around the cabinet here by cutting a bunch of notches. So I know I want that first notch about right there, and then we will work our way out that way. So this is a technique called kerf bending. There is no math or measurement involved here. Basically, I'm just cutting a slot, moving the board over, and then cutting another slot, making sure they are visually evenly spaced. Off camera, I did do a test and found that 9 kerfs allow me a 90-degree bend. It looks cool. It feels cool. Like your mom. That should bend right over that perfectly. So we got some of this ape glue that is activated by water and expands 3 to 4 times. So it says, I think this is water. So I'm gonna wet the joint. We'll use the cabinet as the form. We'll stick this up here and we'll just throw a clamp on there. So the glue is dry and you can see how it expanded. So it should have filled up all those gaps. So now I'm gonna take the clamps off and hopefully it stays in position. Yeah, I think that worked. And look at that. To fasten the top to the cabinet, I'm just gonna use these button cap screws. We went to Home Depot and a 2-pack of these screws cost $5. I threw up in my mouth. So I needed 12. So I just got 2 packs and then I overnighted some on Amazon. So the rest will be here tomorrow.
How much were the ones on Amazon?
$13 for 50 of them. Home Depot, you are ripping people off. The good people. That is our top. I mean, we gotta sand, but looking good. I went ahead and cut 2 more boards that are going to go all the way down the sides and work as legs. Drilled holes into the cabinet, and that's gonna pop into there like this. I am absolutely loving this. I love the curve on the top and the little shelf here. I think we can put a little drawer in right here, but this is looking so good. Yes. Oh, we got some cool design stuff that we could do to this to really pop it off. So now I want to cover up the edges with some maple, so I went to go visit my friends at KenCraft. I'll have a link to them down below. They are a local family-owned store, and they do ship, so you might want to check them out. I think I want to resaw the maple into thinner boards to make this edge banding. From here on out, there is no solid game plan. Gonna glue that right on the face of here. It's a little oversized now, but we'll trim it down to size. That edge banding is dry, so now I'm just gonna use a
flush trim saw
and trim off the edges. Now we're gluing the trim on the top curvy piece. All right. And then on the front of here, since we elevated the whole thing, we have room to make a drawer for the bottom here. I have the inside shelf that I might use for the face of the drawer and then actually make a wooden shelf in there. That way we can kind of repeat this red pattern here. I think it is time for a drawer making montage. What do you think, Dale?
Sounds good.
And we're gonna use some of that beautiful maple that we got from KenCraft. Nobody likes making drawers, especially this guy. But that is in there. This is looking really good. We ain't done yet. We got a lot of cool stuff to do. I went ahead and cut a drawer face for this. I want to use the shelf from inside as the metal face for this drawer, so it matches the top two doors. This is almost so close to being the perfect length, but I gotta cut it down just a little bit. So basically I need to cut this in half, see if I can get that to wrap around the edge there and make it wrap around the edge here. This is out of my comfort zone. I don't know what I'm doing, but that's what makes this fun. This is gonna get messy. Let's take this outside. I'm using a piece of angle iron to cut a perfectly straight line with my angle grinder. And then I notch out the corners and then slowly pound over the edges for a perfect fold. That came out so good. Yeah, that's so good. The next thing I need to do is make a little piece of trim that's gonna go right here to separate these two pieces. You're wondering where's the handle gonna go? You're gonna have to wait. Made a trim piece into an L shape that I am going to epoxy right onto the cabinet. For the doors and the drawer, I came up with the design and we're just gonna glue pieces of maple right on there. If you don't have a scroll saw, use your laser. Fuck it. Let's use a laser. We'll save the scroll saw for another project. We're gonna use the Ranger R400 to cut this out of some maple veneer. If you think this is cheating, let me know by hitting that like button. Look at that scroll saw work. Imagine if I had to cut all those out on the scroll saw. I ain't got time for that.
Remember Dr. Mario?
Oh, they look like the pills. I kicked your ass so bad in Dr. Mario. Yes, I did.
Liar.
Dr. Mario, Tetris. You sucked at Super Mario Bros. 3. We're gonna use the leftover piece of veneer as the template to stick these guys onto the doors. The veneer that I picked has an adhesive back. If you think that's cheating, let me know by hitting that like button. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks so cool. Now we get to make the handles. This is gonna look so good.
Like your mom?
At the beginning of the video, we said,
no jokes about your mom today.
You made mom jokes.
yeah, but I cut them out.
You lie.
While editing the video, I cut them out.
You cut out the mom jokes?
Yeah, but I'm gonna leave yours in to make you look like an asshole.
What? You're the asshole.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They think I'm sweet, young, and innocent.
Well, they know you're not young.
Wait a second. You guys can't see back there. We were just saying,
It's out of breath just from running
I
for
know.
like 10 seconds.
dude, you see how far away that is? We were just saying, there are no failures, there are only lost fingers. I tried to use a rabbiting bit and put a little rabbet on the bottom there, and there wasn't enough surface space for it to be stable. For now, I want all my fingers, so I recut this piece and we're just gonna put a round over on the top, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. When the doors are closed, there's no place for your thumb to grab onto. So Daniel came up with the idea of taking a Forstner bit right in between them and going down part way, and that's gonna give me a little grippy grip. So I'm just going to epoxy the handles on, and then possibly bring a screw in from the back, if you know what I'm saying. I'm using my template here to perfectly align this. Next, we're gonna do all the fine little details that's really gonna make this pop. But first, I'd like to tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform where you can host your website, your domain, your store, and your web presence. I've been using Squarespace for over a decade. Squarespace has this thing called the Fluid Engine, which allows you to drag and drop and build your website. There's no coding, there's no knowledge of web design or any of that business. You can do this on your phone, your tablet, or your computer. And your website is going to look beautiful, whether it's on your phone, your tablet, or your computer. Squarespace has a number of beautiful templates to get you started. And when you choose a template, it doesn't mean you're stuck with that look. There's a lot of things that you can do to move things around and make it look and work for you. There's a new feature in Squarespace that is extremely useful to me, and that is the asset library. When I upload files and logos and images to my website, I can reuse them throughout the website. It's like a little storage facility for all of the images that are important to my business. So Daniel, you don't know this yet, but I signed up to do a craft show in a couple months. Of course, you can make an online store, but with Squarespace, I can take my phone to this craft show and do point of sale. Everything is right there. I can do that all with the Squarespace app, which is so convenient. And the great thing about the Squarespace online store is it keeps track of all my inventory, so I don't have to. When you're ready, visit squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/makesomething for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you, Squarespace. Now let's add the beautiful details to this cabinet. I have decided this needs to be a drink cart. So for the top, it's gonna have this removable tray to hold our drinks. But before we get to that, I'm gonna add some of these fancy wheels here. So I had to build out the sides, so I cut some pieces over at the table saw. They're gonna get glued and screwed on here, and then these fancy wheels are just gonna drop right in. There's one last thing that's totally bothering me, and I'm gonna fix it. Otherwise, it's just gonna bother me forever. There's too much space right here, and I can see the inside here. I don't like that. I'm gonna chop about 1 inch off the legs, and then also make a trim piece that's gonna go right here. I'm just gonna feel so much better about the whole thing.
So picky.
I'm so picky.
But it's gonna look good.
It's the little things that bother me. The last thing that I want to do is make a removable tray. So I still got some leftover maple from KenCraft. We're just gonna do this willy-nilly, no plans. This goes against everything I've taught everybody for years, but I am not going to reinforce the corners. I went ahead a few minutes ago and I added some glue to the end grain and let that completely dry. I'm also gluing in the bottom all the way around. I think this bottom is just gonna hold this piece together over the years. I want this serving tray to lock in place on the cabinet. So I got these cute little buttons here that I'm going to just drill and glue into place, and then over on the cabinet, we'll create a little divot. The feet on here, I want to lock into the top. So I'm gonna dip these into an ink, and then I've got some blocks in here for registration that I can carefully line this up, touch the top surface, and that should leave a little mark where I need to drill my hole. Putting these little felt pads inside the divots, just so it has a nice feel. You like that? And then this, there it goes, locks into place. Look at that. How freaking cool is that? So that's not gonna slide out now. That came out so good. I am absolutely thrilled with that. That removable tray just locks right into place. Let me know if you wanna see more IKEA hacks. I've got a playlist right here with more transformations. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something.